I might lose business over saying this. Doral looks perfect on every real estate reel that you've seen. But there are things about it that nobody talks about that will affect your daily life the moment you move here. Stay with me. If you're thinking about moving to Doral because it looks perfect online, there's a few things you need to know about before buying here. Because while Doral offers beautiful communities, strong schools, and very convenient lifestyle, there's also a side of living here that many people don't know about, and they discover it once they move here. And for some buyers, those surprises become very expensive. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Costa with the Kais Company. I worked in the Doral and Miami real estate market for over 15 years. And today I want to share with you the honest realities of living in Doral, Florida. Not to discourage you from moving here, but to help you understand whether this lifestyle truly fits your goal and your family's goal and your daily routine. One thing I always tell my clients is that visiting Doral and living in Doral are two completely different experiences. When most people first see Doral, they immediately fall in love with the appearance the city has. The landscaping is beautiful, the communities are modern, the schools are highly rated, and everything feels very organized compared to many other parts of Miami. And honestly, there's a reason why so many families relocate here from places like New York, California, Texas, Venezuela, Colombia, and Argentina, and other international markets. Doral has become one of the strongest residential markets in South Florida. But once you actually start living here every single day, certain realities start to appear that many buyers were not expecting. Things like the traffic pattern, the humidity, the insurance costs, the HOA structures, and the pace of life. And if nobody prepares you for those things ahead of time, the adjustment can feel, a little overwhelming after closing, especially for buyers who are purchasing homes from $800,000 to over $1 million. Because once you're investing at that level, lifestyle matters just as much as the property itself. For example, many residents who live in Doral but work in Brickell or the downtown Miami area quickly realize that leaving home after 7:15 in the morning can completely change the length of their commute. That's the type of thing only locals really understand. So today, I want to walk you through 5 honest realities about living in Doral that people rarely talk about online. The weather is more intense than people really expect. Florida weather sounds amazing when you don't really live here yet. But the reality is that Doral experiences extremely high humidity for a large portion of the year. From late spring through early fall, temperatures regularly feel about 100 degrees with humidity included. Even short walks outside during the middle of the day can feel exhausting if you're not used to this climate. And then there's the rain. Summer storms in Miami can appear very quickly, especially during the hurricane season. And certain streets in Doral can experience temporary flooding after heavy rainfall. That becomes part of everyday life here. Another thing many out-of-state buyers underestimate is hurricane season preparation. If a major storm is approaching South Florida, you suddenly have to think about generators, shutters, emergency supplies, gas lines, and possible power outages. For longtime Florida residents like myself, it becomes routine. But people relocating here from other states, for them it can feel very stressful at first. And honestly, that emotional side of living in South Florida is something many people never even discuss before moving here. Number 2, the traffic can become mentally exhausting. This is probably the number 1 complaint I hear from people after they move to Doral. The traffic patterns here can be extremely demanding, especially during school hours and commuting times. And what surprises many people is that the traffic is not only on the highways. A lot of the congestion can happen inside Doral itself. Simple daily routines can suddenly take much longer than expected, depending on the time of the day. For example, if you live in downtown Doral and need to connect to the Palmetto Expressway in the morning, a short drive can turn into a 35 or 40-minute commute. School pickup hours also create significant congestion throughout certain parts of the city, especially around Northwest 87th Avenue, near Ronald Reagan High School, and downtown Doral Charter School. And over time, daily traffic impacts the quality of life more than people initially realize. Some families eventually decide to move closer to work simply because commuting becomes such a draining long-term issue. So if you're considering Doral, understanding your daily routine and schedule ahead of time is incredibly important. Reality 3, the cost of ownership goes far beyond the mortgage. A lot of buyers focus heavily on the purchase price of the home. But in Doral, the monthly ownership cost can become surprisingly high. For example, buyers purchasing an $850,000 home may also find themselves dealing with a property tax that exceeds $14,000 per year. HOA fees ranging from a few $100s to over $700 monthly, depending on the community. Homeowners insurance that continues increasing in South Florida, flood insurance in certain areas, ED fees in some of the newer developments. And once you combine all of those expenses together, the monthly carrying costs can become substantial. Then you add everyday lifestyle like dining, private schools, tolls, car insurance, activities for children. South Florida is expensive in ways many buyers do not fully calculate before relocating. I've seen situations where buyers purchase a home, which is beautiful, but later they realize that their overall monthly lifestyle fees are uncomfortable. That's why I always tell my clients to evaluate the complete financial pictures before making a decision. Doral has become a very fast-paced social culture. This is something that's difficult to explain unless you've spent time living here. Doral has a very ambitious and image-conscious culture compared to many other suburban cities. You'll notice luxury vehicles everywhere, designer fashion, high-end restaurants, very social environments. People constantly working, networking, and upgrading their lifestyle. For many residents, that energy feels motivating and exciting. But for others, especially families that are relocating from quieter cities, this pace can feel surprisingly intense. There's definitely a strong culture around success and appearances in certain parts of Doral. And locals understand exactly what I mean when I mention things like weekend brunch at downtown Doral. Often feels like just as much as a social scene as it does a casual family outing. That's very specific to the Doral lifestyle. And again, there's nothing wrong with ambition or success, but it's important to understand the social environment before moving here. Because some people absolutely thrive in it, while others eventually realize that they prefer a slower pace of life. Reality number 5, the growth of Doral comes with trade-offs. Doral continues growing very quickly. New construction, new apartment buildings, commercial developments, retail expansions, and while growth is positive for property values and long-term investment potential, it also creates challenges for residents. Construction has become a part of everyday life in many areas. Road closures, traffic detours, noise, overcrowded parking, longer wait times at restaurants and shopping centers. Some longtime residents will tell you that the city feels dramatically busier than it did even 5 or 6 years ago. And honestly, they're right. As more people move into Doral, the infrastructure continues trying to keep up with the demand. That doesn't mean that Doral is a bad place to live. It simply means that the city is evolving very quickly, and buyers should understand both the advantages and the trade-offs that come with that growth. Now, with all of that said, I also want to be fair and balanced because despite challenges, Doral remains one of the most desirable cities in South Florida for a reason. The schools here are excellent, the communities are beautiful, the location is extremely convenient, the international culture is unique, and many families truly love living here. But I believe the best real estate decision happens when buyers finally and fully understand both the positives and the negatives before purchasing. Doral is not the perfect fit for everybody. If you want a slower lifestyle, minimal traffic, and lower monthly expenses, there may be other cities that fit your lifestyle. But if you value convenience, strong community, international culture, and long-term investment potential, Doral can absolutely be an incredible place to live. The key is making sure that the lifestyle aligns with your expectations before you move here. If you're considering moving to Doral or anywhere in the Miami area, and you want honest guidance about which communities may fit your lifestyle best, I'd love to help you navigate that process. I work with buyers and sellers throughout Doral and the greater Miami area. And my goal is always to help clients make informed and strategic decisions, not emotional ones. If you have any questions about specific neighborhoods, schools, commute times, HOA communities, or the current market, feel free to reach out to me directly. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe because I'll continue sharing honest insights about what it's like to really live in Doral, downtown Doral, Miami, and other South Florida communities from the perspective of someone who truly works in this market every day.